What is going on? What is going on? Everybody in the house, what is going on? Wake up in Cleveland every single morning.
I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check, no drip this, wet. Tell them run it up, no sleep, no rest, might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch, tell them run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check, no drip this, wet. Tell them run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check, no drip this, wet. Tell them run it up.
What is going on? What is going on? Wake up. Not even wake up. It's the day before Thanksgiving. The day before, well, for at least people in America, it's the day before Thanksgiving. I know that people in Britain, they don't celebrate Thanksgiving, so for them, it doesn't really matter. But for us, it kind of matters. Today is Tech Wednesday, GJ Tech Wednesday. Normally it's on Thursday if you guys are new here, but I felt like if I did it tomorrow, I don't know. I just felt like the turnout wouldn't be as great. So we're doing it today. I'm sure that a lot of people are probably right. If you're working, you're probably about to get let off to go home, to go shopping, which we know nobody's doing that. That's why you have significant others. But I'm not even sure what we're going to do just yet. Did not get a turkey. We're not turkey people. In all honesty, like people will bring, if we do have like maybe grandma or somebody will bring turkey, but like we don't do turkey. I'm not really the biggest fan of turkey. I mean, look, I grew up in a Southern household. So, you know, for us, my mom made the same thing every single year and it was perfect. Macaroni and cheese, cornbread stuffing. Yeah, there was some turkey somewhere, but that was only to break up the amount of carb loading that you were doing for about 8 hours straight. So mac and cheese and cornbread stuffing, those are my go-tos. There's absolutely nothing better. It is just, it's been passed down. My wife knows how to make it now. My mom finally showed her how to do it. And we, unfortunately, since we're now gluten-free, we've been gluten-free for the past couple of years, there was a little bit of a slight changeover. With going from like a non-gluten-free cornbread stuffing and a non-gluten-free macaroni and cheese to like gluten-free. And it takes a minute. And then my wife tried to get really creative. I don't know why people want to mess up the only day in like the entire year where it's okay to like engorge yourself. Just stuff your face full of stuff and you got to unbuckle your belt and you fall asleep. You're watching the football. Like my wife was like, let's do healthy. Let's do vegan cheese and the macaroni and cheese. Let's do this. And we were like, it's good, honey. It took a minute, but we're finally back. Now, of course, I don't want to say of course, my family, we had our dance convention for my kids, you know, they're dancers and stuff. So they went away over this weekend and I actually do have a story to tell today. They went over this weekend. They came back on Sunday, sick. They all have the flu. I have been fortunate enough to try to avoid it, even though I've had to like handle all the responsibilities, which is fine, but they're all very, very needy. I don't know how you guys are. Everybody's different when they get sick. When I get sick, I want nothing to do with anybody. I will legitimately go into my room, get under the blankets, and I will be in there in my little sick cocoon for, I don't know, probably a day or two. And then I walk out and then I'm fine. Everybody in my family likes, well, I want to do this. And they want to complain. I'm like, stop complaining. Just go to sleep. Just go to sleep, you know? And it's just different. I'm that cat. I'm that cat that, when they know they're about to die, they like walk outside and they sneak away and they go die in a corner. I'm that cat. I want nothing to do with anybody. I just want to be left alone. Leave me alone. Don't ask me how I'm feeling. If I was feeling good, I'd be outside with you guys, but I'm not. So just leave me alone. That's me. I'm a simple creature, really. By the way, I'm curious. I was going to say a minute ago, they were sick as dogs. Where the hell does that term come from? Sick as dogs. I got to find out. I got to look. So we're going to look for what that means. We're, what is that? The epidemiology of the word. Sick like dogs. Origination. Warning, signs your pet is sick. Sick as a, not like. Okay. The origin of the phrase sick as a dog can be found in the early 1700s when it was common to compare undesirable things to dogs. The explanation for this isn't that people didn't like dogs. It is that diseases such as plagues were often spread via animals like rats, birds, and unfortunately, dogs. There you go. Now, I have been, congested, little chest thing, but I've had that for a little while too. So I think you can probably hear it in my voice. But besides that, I've been okay. Now, I've been sleeping on the couch for the past 3 days. I could have slept in the spare room. I don't know. I just didn't want to. I just didn't want to. My couch is pretty damn comfortable. So I've been there trying to avoid the epidemic that is my home. And then I did my party this weekend. The client tips us. So the crew texted me, hey, did we get our tips? Blah, blah, blah. And then I sent it off. And she's like, oh, one of the dancers was like, oh, by the way, I tested positive for COVID. So I had to test for COVID today. I'm clear. But I think I've been clear. I'm not quite sure that I've had COVID yet at all. Honestly, I might be immune to COVID, which does exist, by the way. I'm not just saying stuff. There are certain people that just can't get COVID for whatever reason. I don't know. It just doesn't work for them. John Smith says you get tips. So the answer is yes and no. I mean, we don't demand tips. We don't ask for tips, but clients do tip us. And a lot of times they tip well for our safety. Thanks, T Diesel. T Diesel is my mod. So if you're going to say something stupid, T Diesel is going to be there to probably not take you off. That's a John P thing, not a T Diesel thing. I do want to point out that I see DJ Phasm in the building. That's one of my members. DJ Matt Ames, one of my members, and Robert Nestor. By the way, 2 of my members, Robert and Matt, were the first to comment on this stream. That is a real member right there. That is what a member should do. Love it. Absolutely love it. If you want to be a member, support the cause, click on the join button or click on the I think it's just a member button. Depends on what device you're using, but it's all there. It's all accessible. Mr. Pookie in the building. DJ K. DJ Baby Boy. Okay. Don Rafa, Island Boy, Mac Attack, Mike Beats in the building. What is going on? Nathan Jones. Mike Beats is actually one of those guys. He's a producer. He produces these great beat records called what is it? Dusty Fingers, I believe is what it's called. I have actually used Dusty Fingers anytime I'm demoing turntables or something that requires vinyl. I will use his beats for 2 reasons. One, because they don't come up under YouTube, so they don't demonetize me. And 2, because the beats are dope. So I always use his beats. If you ever see vinyl and you see Dusty Fingers, which is right here, Dusty Fingers. I don't know if he has more. I'm sure he does, but But it is great, great, great album. Rare original break beats, lots of good music, and he sent me doubles, which I appreciate because we're DJs, so we need doubles. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. I fully expected you to be eating turkey live. No, not me. I am not. So I make turkey. I'll do ground turkey. I'll even cook sometimes with turkey. I just don't like turkey. Like, oh, here's a drumstick. Like, it just doesn't work for me. Here's a breast. I don't know. I am excited though that we have more than one day of football. Now, of course, you have to be a Prime member for Friday's football, but we have obviously football on Thursday. We always have Turkey Day football. Usually Dallas is playing somebody. That's usually the norm. And then Friday, we have a Black Friday football game, which should be interesting. Text messages. And you're all clear. I'll talk about that story in a minute too. So I don't have my truck. I mean, I have my truck, but my truck has not been fixed yet. Just because you can't trust customer service. You know, when somebody's like, you go and they do the work you get your appraisal. Like, we just have to order the bumper and then we're going to paint it up and then it'll be ready. We'll call you, come in and take about an hour to get done. Cool. Great. That was last Monday. And I'm like, I haven't received a call yet. So I called them today and, like, oh yeah, we got it in, bumper's ready to go. Obviously it's too late to schedule anything this week. And I'm just like, that's not even my job. You should have called me, but neither here nor there. I get it fixed on Monday, which means I have to rent another van for this weekend, which I'm not really looking forward to. I just can't stand vans. So, I'm going to type this out because there's a couple things I do want to talk about today, but I don't want to forget because my brain is a little cloudy. So first we're going to talk about, not first, but where, we're going to talk about my party this weekend. And we're going to talk about, irony because that actually happened this weekend. And I wish I had it on tape, but I don't. Sick as a horse. I don't know about sick as a horse. I'm sure it's the same concept, you know. I mean, a lot of times sick as a horse is always, you know, they want to put you down. So let's see. Sick as a horse. Okay. It says it first appeared in Canada. Feel free to tell me more. Ew. I'm sorry. I'm seeing some stuff that I don't want to talk about on screen here. All right. Eat like a horse, one horse town. They don't like sick as a horse. They like sick as a dog, but they don't like sick as a horse. Yeah, I'm typing in sick as a horse and a whole bunch of things are about dogs. Anyway, we'll come back. Anyway, okay, so I don't approve these messages. Oh, Drew, thank you for the $10 super chat. I appreciate you, fam. It goes a long way. It helps out. Helps me get to like places like Boston, which I will be at. What is that? December 8th? What's the date? When am I going to be in Boston? I'm going to be in Boston on December 11th, 12th, and 13th. I will be in Boston for the Harvest of Sound conference. And it's actually going to be, they put a lot into this one. They put a lot into this to try to make this work. They have an amazing end of week party where, you know, oh my God, Scratch Bastard is going to be the headliner there. I'm DJing too, but I'm like from Scratch Bastard, but I would go just for Scratch Bastard. So if you were in Boston, you can still buy tickets to the Harvest of Sound. However, you can buy if you, for whatever reason, can't get to the thing. I mean, and there are multi-day passes. There's because it's a 3-day event, but you can just buy the party pass just to go to the party. So there's a lot of different options there. Sorry, Dan. Oh, Dan the Man makes. Oh, sorry about that, DJ Danny. My bad. Okay. What kind of truck are you using? I own a Ford F-150 that I love. I love this truck. I originally started out. What did I start out when I first started DJing? I was using. I was using my Infiniti FX. My Infiniti QX4. That was my first high-end car. My Infiniti QX4. I love that car. Loved the car. Drove it into the ground. It was a car. It was our first vehicle for DJing. So we did the trailer hitch thing. Messed up my axles. It was just bad. So then the next vehicle I got was my FX35 Infiniti again. I do love Infiniti. I don't like Infiniti now. Not because of the fact that I don't like Infiniti. I don't like their stylings. I think they're all of a sudden they're making ugly cars. And so the FX35, that was my bread and butter. Loved that vehicle. That was my favorite vehicle of all time. Loved it. It was roomy, but it was fast, tons of power, horrible gas mileage. My favorite car. And I literally drove that till it was, I think, at about 130,000 miles. It was a workhorse, absolute workhorse. And then after that, I moved. I'm like, maybe I should get a truck. And I stupidly, not for the truck, but I got a Ford Ranger. And Ford Ranger was fine. The problem with the Ford Ranger wasn't the Ford Ranger. I had gotten the dual cab Ford, and obviously what I didn't really understand before was anytime you introduce another cab on your truck, you lose bed space. Like that never really changes. You can get a super long bed, but they're ugly as hell. So I got it and I got the bed. That was fine. But then they were like, but look at this one over here. This one has the electric cargo tonneau cover. Like, ooh, electric. Love that. Hit the little remote. Tonneau cover would open up. People were like, that's nice, sir. That's nice. You know what's not nice? Losing probably a quarter of your space to the electric tonneau cover engine. The motor took up so much room. I didn't have space for most of my gear. So it ended up filling up like my entire truck, and I still didn't have enough room for everything. I could only do so much. So finally, when I ended that car, I got my F-150 and I got the dual cab again. But then I got the medium truck bed, not the small, not the large. I don't like the way the large looks, the long bed, and it fits my system perfectly. And with the F-150 having completely flat back seat, once you, not back seat, but flat floor, once you lift up the back seats, you have a completely new cabinet available for anything. So there hasn't been anything that I've thrown in my truck that I haven't been able to take. And I'm talking about like our biggest systems where I would normally need a van. I haven't needed it for my truck. The only time I will need it for my truck is when it's raining. You know, obviously I don't, if I can fit everything in there and put the tonneau cover on, which I have a backflip, and put the tonneau cover on, then I'm fine. But like, I'm not going to put my QSCs out there and continue to drive. That's just dumb. So yeah, love my truck. Love my truck. And it's F-150 wheels. There's nothing wrong with the F-150. It's the bumper that was damaged. There's nothing wrong with the truck. Leave my truck alone. DJ 559. Going into the year, I want to DMX my Chevy wash effects with the Chevy wireless DMX setup. My question, what software or hardware is the most efficient way of controlling them? Well, you have tons of options, You have as simple as like Light Rider or My DMX Go. You can go Sound Switch. You can go the WMX1. All of them are good choices. All of them will do what you need. And all of them are pretty simple to use. I would say Light Rider is probably the simplest, but since you're using a Wash Effects, I think Light Rider is better when you're doing movers. It's designed for movers. If you're doing Watch Effects and now you're dealing with multiple channels in kind of the same box, but you're not having to worry about the moves, I'd probably say Sound Switch or the WMX. They're good choices. Okay. Until I heard about Scratch. I wasn't planning. Yeah. Scratch Bastard has a tendency to do that to most people, Pablo. Okay. Let's see here. Am I going up or is my seat going down? I might buy a seat for myself over Black Friday. Maybe. I don't make any promises, but maybe. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Just order an executive Uber. I'll do that. Just bring my gear. While you're at it, can you set everything up for me too? Okay. What about fried turkey? Doesn't do it for me. No coffee, no turkey, no COVID. I mean, I like to think that sometimes I think everybody's body's different. And sometimes I feel like, especially when you're looking at like the people that live to like 95 and 100, and you're like, what did you do that was so different? They're like, nothing. I drank, I ate pork, I ate cheese and pizza and dairy and blah, blah, blah. And I smoked a carton a day and I'm still alive. So I'm just of the mindset that your body is your body. And sometimes I think that you can healthy yourself to death. And I love breast. Okay. DJ Slice in the building. What is going on? Dolphins, baby. Let's see what happens. They've been a little wishy-washy. DJ Pete says, stray dogs versus house poodle. Your kids are house poodles. Leave the house, one sip of gutter water, and they're down. You, the stray dog, accustomed to gutter water, and you were born to exist outside. Okay. When I first started reading that, I'm like, what the hell is this man saying? I get it now. I get it. There is some truth to that there are too many kids out there that are just so sheltered, so babied that they just can't take any adversity at all. And I think you're right. Although I will say this, my wife is really good about like taking care of the family and everything. That's what she does. That's her job. I am the one as emotional as you can see me. I am not the doctor with the bedside manner. I'm like, what do you need? What can I do for you? How can I help you? Bye. Like, I'm not that guy that's like, oh, it's okay. I know. I understand. Like, that's not me. First of all, because I think all this stuff is how you get sick. I'm like this. Like, that's how I work. I truly believe, the nurturers are the ones that get sick because they're just around their children. I'm like, sorry, children. You need to go in your room and close the door. Okay. Let's see here. Somebody asked about Tractor and I skipped it because it's Tractor. Mr. Pookie says, does anyone else think Tractor is a lost cause? I'm thinking about going to Serato or Virtual DJ. I need stems in my life. Tractor was and is still a lost cause, in my opinion. Why, in my opinion? Because I don't know one person besides I know two people that still use Tractor. Mixmaster GNL and Carlo Antonita. Those two. I just think that at a certain point, it's time to move away. It's just time to move away. I don't think they're going to recover. Okay. All right. Does it have a ramp for your subs? No, I'm a man. I lift my subs up. To be fair and honestly, this is the way I feel. The reason that I bought the QSCs, one of the big reasons was I didn't want to have to lift my SRX 828 and things like that. So, I got speakers that are lighter, so I don't have to deal with that. But I lift my speakers up, I take my speakers down, I get my workout in, I go to the gym, I make sure that I'm strong enough to lift them, and that's it. No ramp though, no ramp. Drew Slim says, I think one of my friends is DJing in Harvest of Sound, DJ Duck. Probably. I haven't even looked at the list. There's a lot of people, but it should be a good time. It should be a good time. I'm a big fan of Boston. Okay. What's the best way of going about it? Going about what? Oh, I already answered that question. Okay. Do you have a trailer with it? Nope, no trailer. I have a trailer hitch, but I don't need a trailer. I bought this truck specifically because I wanted to be able to fit everything in my truck. You don't understand. Like, I measured and measured and measured before I purchased that truck. Many times over. I measured that before I bought my speakers. I knew I was buying an F-150. I was looking at the dimensions and I'm looking at everything. I'm like, okay, the speakers are this one. The subs are this big. Okay, with the bag, it's going to be this big. And then with this, it's going to be this much. Okay, I know I'm getting a tonneau cover and it's going to at least take up, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 inches, but then there's stuff underneath so I can put my thing under there. And then like I measured everything. So I don't think that I will be moving to any other system for a long time, unless it's smaller than what I'm currently using. You know, that's why I either use my QSC system or I use my LD system, and occasionally the Bose system too. Like I'm not Bose hating, but the LD, I use the LD or the QSC. Okay. Adrian Slice says, Zach's in the building. How you doing? He didn't say that. Adrian says new 2324 MacBook maxed out. Okay. Versus gaming laptop maxed out. Which is better buy for running Serato? Also other applications that may run Serato. Well, I'll tell you the truth. The best choice right now is Serato is on Mac. Now, why do I think it's better on Mac? Because Windows is struggling with their audio drivers. Windows is struggling to keep up with it. And there are a couple of companies out there that stopped making kind of DJ specific laptops for that reason, because they couldn't guarantee that they could get the speeds down to, you know, the milliseconds that they need. So I would say but you don't need a maxed out Mac. Let's just start there. You don't need a maxed out Mac. People go out there, spend $5,000-$6,000 on a Mac, and you would have been just as fine with a $2,500 Mac. So get one right in the middle. Well, I'm a big fan of the 14. You guys know this, 14 or 16. You know, get the one that's like right in the middle of cores, right in the middle of GPUs. Get yourself a good size hard drive and at least 16 gigs of RAM, and you will be fine for a long time. A long time. Okay. All right. Just joins Max SPL in the building. What is going on? Gonna be a good stream. Just dropping in from work to say happy Thanksgiving. Unheard threat. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Yeah, please. I mean, I know a lot of people will rewatch the show later on or finish the show later on. I appreciate that. I don't plan on staying on. Last week was a long show. But this week, because I have sick people in my house, they're going to be up my ass in probably about an hour. Like, hey, I'm hungry. Can you get my medicine? Can you plug something needy? I just am not that person. I don't know how. I can empathize with people. I'm really good at that, but I am kind of incapable of like expressing that empathy, physically and verbally, facially. Like, I just don't have it in me. Oh, this happened and this happened and blah, blah. This person died and blah. And I'm just like, I'm sorry to hear that. So do you want to go get something to eat? Want to get a drink or something? Like, I'm just not that guy. I wish I was, like everybody's different. I'm not that person. DJ Kenny in the building on Wednesday. Just got the alert. Blessings. What's going on, fam? Good to see you, man. Thanks for hanging out. All right, let's see here. Cooler, better sound, more reliable. That's true. I still remember all of the butt tractor had stems first. Yes. DJ Craze uses anything he wants to use. I would not use him as your example because the man can plan anything. And I think he does jump ship a lot. So it's hard to say. Sometimes, like, I'm not saying that anybody uses it because they get paid for it, but I'm just saying that sometimes they get paid for it. Okay. DJ Lab in the building. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. All right. He can lift stuff so that raps because he don't eat turkey. I'm not tired when I lift the speakers, but don't get me wrong. Every so often, are they annoying? Are they annoying? Especially on a long day. And we'll talk about my party this weekend because that actually happened. You get home and you're just like, I don't want to even take my speakers out, but I got to put them away. I can't just leave them. I've left my speakers in my truck before though. Like, it's been a long day or I have a double and I'm just like, I'm going to risk it all right now. Now, having said that, I live in an exceptionally safe neighborhood. There's a cop. My next door neighbor is a police officer. I have a cop 4 houses down from me. So our neighborhood is in a very secluded spot with no, like, there's no way to get in and like rob somebody and not get out easily. We have one way in. Even though there's like 9 streets in my, home area, there's only one way to get into our street, and every single street is a cul-de-sac. Every single street. So it's the worst thing if you're trying to commit a crime, because all they have to do is literally put a car right at the first stop. That's it. Cole Cut in the building. What's going on? Let's see here. Jack to be like loops. Same reason I bought my Silverado. Exactly. All right. I can pick up the QSCs, but I thought some Bass Boss SB 118s and they are a pain in the ass to pick up. Yeah. I mean, but that's one of the reasons that I didn't get Bass Boss. And it'll be one of the reasons that I don't choose a lot of speakers if I can't fit them in my truck. And I could get a Transit. I might end up getting a Transit at some point. I don't know. I'm just kind of over it. I want a vehicle that can just do it all. So I'm just going to stay with this for the time being. We'll see what happens with my next vehicle, so we'll see. Real DJ Special K says, I'm using Serato DJing video. I also have a 15i7. My video has been glitchy and hesitating. I'm considering getting the 16.2 M3 Pro Mac 18 core, 1 terabyte Pro. Is it overkill? Yeah. Your video getting glitchy. First off, you're running an i7. So you're running an i7. The graphics cards in the other in the Intel versions of the MacBooks were solid, but they weren't amazing. And then you couple that with the fact that you have stems, which is just more of a drain on the resources of your computer, even if you're not even using them. So you don't need to get the 18 core. You're fine. Like I said, middle of the line. M3 is fine. You'll be fine. Honestly, just don't get entry level. When you look at your processors, I always go, what's the one right above or the one right below the M1 Max? What's the one right below that? Okay. That's the one I want. And, they've done studies as far as, the difference between the M3s are really good processors. I mean, obviously you're going to run into a situation where the, Serato software may give you trouble because it's not optimized for it yet, and then it's not supported. But besides that, the M3s are bomb. Let's see here. Have you had much time with DJ Pro A1? I have DJ Lab. I have. It's solid. I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with stems. Stems to me are so bad on DJ, I can't even use it. But it's a great piece of software. Now, I think the question is always, well, would you go full time with an iPad? No. And the reason that I wouldn't is because I'm still concerned with the heating situation of the iPad. I love my iPad. I love my iPhone, but I don't love what happens when it starts to generate a lot of heat and there are no fans in the iPad. And it's a very, very small enclosure. I've experienced times when my phone was sitting right here and and you're not thinking anything of it and it's been out in the sun for a couple of minutes. You pick it up and it's like too hot. Sorry. Like I can't have that. I can't have that. So, I like it as a backup. I don't know that I would use it full time yet. That could change. Who knows? If you're not using an external drive, just get an M2 NBA. So, again, we're talking about fans. So it depends on how much you're doing. Now, I know you're not going to have any issues typically with any M processors, even the ones that are fanless. However, the M1 was better at dissipating heat than the M2 and the M3. The M3 seems to be better than the M2, but it's still not as good as the M1. So I'm always on the fence with that one. I mean, my son's probably going to get an M1 MacBook Air, but he's operating always indoors. He's never outside, So I don't know. I haven't tried one outside. I've tried this guy, which is my 14 outside. It hasn't stuttered at all. So I'm sure it would be fine, but I'm just a little more cautious. If you were in an area that you're going to be dealing with high heat and high humidity, I'd say go with the Pro. Okay. Oh, look, and DJ Phasm. See what he just said? M2 MacBook Air. It will shut down. Look at, see, I'm telling you, man, I be dropping knowledge, factual knowledge. Anybody that comes on, I mean, come on, man. This is what you get. I am him. Okay. 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 So Keith, yes and no. Okay. Even with the fan, any direct sunlight will hurt the machine. Obviously, heat will always be a factor on any machine, but there is a legitimate difference between when you're pressing your computer and the fans kick on to the level it brings it down. So I have seen my MacBook doesn't typically go above, what is it at right now? It's at 58 Celsius. It doesn't typically go above 80 degrees Celsius. My Intel would idle at like 80 degrees and would get up to 108, 110. The fans would bring it back down to say 95, 90. So anytime I see, if I'm running some unoptimized piece of software and then all of a sudden my fans will ramp up and I'm looking over, I'm like, oh my God, my processor is at 103. And then literally the fans will kick on. 3 minutes later, it's back to 75. So fans help no matter what. Now, what you're dealing with when you're outside, there are factors that come into play. It's not just the direct sunlight, because the direct sunlight, yes, it is heating up your chassis. You do have that. And then your fans are kicking in and then they're sending that heat through the heat pipe, through the metal chassis. But the key here is I found the worst is when it's humid. The more humid, the more you have general heat around your computer, where even though you're sending heat out, and I'm getting lower and lower, where even though you're sending heat out, it has nowhere to go because it's hitting the aluminum and then it's still hot. So the heat just kind of sits there and gets hotter and hotter. So you're right, but there's more to it because just in direct sunlight, I mean, I've run this Pro in direct sunlight with 85 degrees, 90 degrees, and I've been just fine. On my Intel, I would start stuttering 100%. You know, my son has been using my my XMG, and because of the resource hoggedness, that's a word today, of Serato, like he wasn't even using stems, and he had loaded a video in the background and it started stuttering because of that. It just takes up so much processing power. Okay. Greg Black says, new to live streaming. Do you have any suggestions? Yes, watch my video. I have several videos. I have a playlist on live streaming. Watch. I talk about it all. Honestly, check that out. Okay. How do you deal with friends and relatives wanting cheap rates? This is a great question, Cold Cut. You know what's not great? My chair. My chair is not great. And it's so weird. I will be on this talking to clients and it won't drop. I'm on here with you guys and it's dropping left and right. I don't know what you guys are just weighing me down, I guess. I gotta leave you guys. Okay. How do you deal with friends and relatives wanting cheap rates? Well, first off, if they are your real friends and relatives that you love, I don't have a problem giving away the farm for those people. You know, I have a minimum that I set for those people. And I tell them, like, if it's not me, you have to pay at least the cost of, you know, the vendors, you know, so that would be a DJ and an MC. You're gonna have to pay their rate. I won't charge you any more than that. If it is me, sometimes I'll give them even a better deal. You just got to pay for the MC, you know, and the cost of transportation to get there and all that stuff. So that stuff is built in. I'm not losing money on them, but I'm just not making any money off of them. Now, if they are acquaintances, I don't have a problem. Acquaintances, closer acquaintances, right? Like they know you, maybe your friends in the same circle as other friends. You know, I have a discount I give. You know, typically it's 20%. And usually speaking, if it's somebody that I consider, you know, somebody I want to take care of, I'll do a 20% and then I won't charge them for any add-ons that like I'd have to bring. So if they're like, oh, I like to get uplighting, I'd like to get a video projector for the montage, I won't charge them for any of that stuff. I can just throw it in my truck. It's not a big deal. But besides those people, if somebody just calls me, we went to school together, blah, 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 and I don't really know you, I'm like, I'm going to give you the full rate brochure, and then I'll figure out what kind of deal. Because it's not just friends that ask you, you know, for deals or expect deals. There's a lot of friends that don't expect deals. And I'll tell you straight out, charge me what you normally charge me. I don't want a discount because I value your craft. I value your experience and your skills. And for those people, A+. And I will do the same thing for them, not walking into their store like, hey, what kind of deals can you give me? I'm not doing that. But I have clients right now where some people, they'll get a brochure. So the prices are on the brochure. They know how much I cost. And then they'll email me, hey, what do you charge for this? Can you give me a custom quote? I'm like, that's not really custom. And my brochure allows you to kind of select and it'll give you a roundabout price. So it's all BS. And so I sent the quote out and they came back. They're like, can you go cheaper? Like, why are you asking me, can I go cheaper? If I could go cheaper, I'd be cheaper. It's such a silly question. Meanwhile, I'm thinking to myself, and I don't put this in an email, but I'm thinking to myself, well, let's see here. You asked for MC, DJ, uplighting, video montage, and photo booth. And then you're asking me if I can be cheaper? Well, logic would suggest you take some stuff off. If I go to the store and I have all this stuff. It's Black Friday. I'm grabbing all this stuff, this shirt and this shirt and this pair of pants and blah, blah, blah. And I walk up to the front and they're like, that'll be $300. And I only have $250. I'm going to be like, well, you know what? I didn't really like the shirt anyway. Just remove this shirt. Get rid of those socks. I don't need those socks. $249, deal. But people just think that your rates are relative. My rates are my rates. That's what they cost. I got to live. And I don't know you. It's so funny to me. People will think that you owe them something. Oh, that's not going to work for me. Like, perfect example. Just yesterday, had a client. It came through from one of my DJs. My DJ said, hey, I have a wedding. I don't want to deal with it. I'll do the wedding, but can you handle it? I'm like, of course. So, any DJ that works for us, yeah, we'll send it through our stuff and pay him just the normal way. From the very start, this client has been overbearing, to say the least, asking just questions of, well, we want this, we want to make sure it's this, and I don't want to do this. And I'm like, well, look, this is your thing. I'm just handling the booking. This is what it costs. And, well, I need to make sure it guarantees. Well, I can't guarantee a human being. And he said he's going to be there. I'm going to put him down as a request, and that's it. So now they know everything that we offer. Okay. Recently, now they're going through my contract. Well, it says here that the deposit is non-refundable. And then if I cancel within 30 days of the event, you get to keep 2/3 of the money. I'm like, well, this is true. Now, I've never, ever in the 16 years been in business, have ever kept 2/3 of the money, ever. Typically speaking, I only keep the deposit. So she says, I know what happens if we cancel before the 30 days. I'm like, this is a silly question. It literally says it in the contract. That's why it's legalese. I said, well, yeah, you lose your deposit. Your deposit is non-refundable. That's it. I'm not going to charge you for the remaining balance. Next question. So if this DJ that I booked, I know he works for you guys, and I know, he doesn't take off, but if he decides he's going to take off for whatever reason, do we get 100% of our money back? I said, absolutely not. You're going to get a DJ that's just as qualified. This isn't a negotiation. Either you book or you don't. And I literally told the DJ, I'm like, we're about to walk away from this client. And then she came back. It gets worse. She comes back and says, oh, no worries. That's fine. And she says, but we are looking at an MC that we're going to bring on. Will he have a problem working with an MC? So we have a rule. Okay. We have a simple rule. We are a one-stop shop. We do MCs, DJs, dancers, sound lighting and stuff. We don't really care about it. If you bring in an outside source, fine. But our core, the thing that we use to run our business, MCs, DJs, dancers, those are ours. We take them in, we train them, we set them up, we show them the procedures. They know the rules. They know how we operate. The DJs know how to read the MC. The MC knows how to read the DJ. Everything flows because we train. We have a dedicated DJ trainer, a dedicated dancer and MC trainer, and then we follow up every single week. Playlist, all these things. We do these things to ensure that we're going to put out the best product possible. Okay. When clients come in and try to a la carte me, it drives me nuts. Well, I want your MC, but I have a DJ. Well, then you don't have an MC. Can I just bring my own dancers in? Why? They're not going to be good and we're all going to look bad. Nope, I'm not doing that. We will not tarnish our brand because you think you're saving a buck and really you're just making your party worse. So when that client said, yeah, we're going to bring in another MC, I already was ready to answer, well, then you're not going to get the DJ because he works for us and we don't work with outside vendors when it comes to this. But fortunately, I texted him last night. I'm like, hey, she's trying to bring in a different MC. Our stance. He's like, nope, I will not work with another MC. I do not care. Walk away from it. And I'm like, thank you. So I responded to her gently and just said, look, we don't work for the other MCs. And as a matter of fact, I talked to, I was gonna say his name. I talked to the DJ and he flat out said he won't work with other MCs. So you're going to have to book with us for an MC if you want that. They haven't responded yet. I honestly hope they walk away. There is a thing out there where you don't need to book every single event. It'd be nice if every event fell in your lap and they were all great and everybody was perfect and you already have enough to deal with just the clients you have. You don't need to deal with drama just because. You don't need to deal with somebody that's trying to, lowball you. What's the point of doing an event where you feel like you've just been molested and lowballed and you're not really making any money back anyway? What's the point of doing that party? We're doing a party today. Client called. We do a lot of school events and we always give the schools discounts. So the client knows that we give school discounts. And the client said, well, I don't have a big budget. I'm doing it on a Wednesday. So, what can you do? And I gave her a quote. She's like, she comes back with like $200 less. And I'm like, look, if it's me, then maybe, if I'm just doing it, I'm just going to earn an extra $500. Okay, fine. I'll go do this party. But then she's like, but I need an MC and I need this and I need that. And I'm like, okay, well now now I have to charge you through the company. And now I got to charge you the company. So it's not coming through me. Now I no longer want to do this party. Well, can you do this? I want an MC. I want it to be cheaper. I'm like, look, you cannot, your emotional stance doesn't do anything for me. I'm a business. You are approaching this emotional. I'm approaching this from a business perspective. They're not the same. It's nice when they, coincide, but the reality is it's not the same. So just because you want a good deal, I want to make money. So we meet in the middle. And in reality, if I'm not making any money, I would typically walk away. I said yes this time because only one reason. I'm not doing the party today. I sent it to my other DJ and MCs. The only reason was it's holidays are coming up. These people need to work. So I'm like, hey, you got anybody want to work? It's a lower pay. It's this much. And people were like, yep, I'll do it. Done. But the bottom line here is that most of the time, if this were a normal Saturday and people were like, oh, well, I don't want this and I don't want that. And I'm like, look, we don't need your work for this Saturday, for this particular Saturday that you're looking at. We don't need it. I have a date in May right now that has like 9 bookings. We have space for like another 2 or 3. And these clients keep calling with all these demands. What about this? And I want this. And I want to make sure that I get this. And I want to make sure I'm like, and I obviously can't say, you know what, guys, in all honesty, I don't know what you're going to get right now because we're already booked with the people that wanted to book us. Your last minute, your demands mean nothing to me. Your demands, I can't even fulfill your demands. Either you want us as a company or you don't want us. Anyway. All right, I'm venting. Let's see here. I will bring up met him several times in person. Absolutely amazing, empathetic dude. Thank you, DJ Kenny. Thank you. Max says that's why I don't have decals. Agreed. It does say rob me. I ditched my taco for my taco. Maybe Tahoe. I'm assuming it's Tahoe. For a Model Y, ain't turned back. It got to load up everything. I'll just rent a Transit for the day. Yeah, I almost put money down for the Tesla truck. And then I started to learn about Elon Musk, and not to get political, he's not the guy for me. I'm not giving him any money. That's it. So no Teslas in my future. Okay. People sleep on the Mac version of DJ. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Matt Ames. The Mac version is so much better than the iPad version. You're right. You're right. I got no problem with that one. It's clean. Tell your planner you need a tent. I just assume, in all honesty, the way I work is I assume that I am not going to have a tent. If I do have a tent, great, which is why I have computers that I know can deal with the heat. Simple as that for me. I'll never forget. I did a wedding outside in Riverside. Says DJ Kenny. 1 year was running to the venue kitchen, placing my laptop in the freezer. I was so embarrassed. 2017 Mac Pro i7. I had an i9. Mine was worse. That thing cooked. It was always hot. Always hot. Buy new relatives. Love that. Ashley says, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving to you also. I did my friend's anniversary party and I just had them pay for our hotel. Yeah. So I've done the same thing. There was I had a photographer friend of mine, did his wedding in Tulum, Mexico. And, I'm like, I'm not going to charge you. All I want you to do is make sure that you have a flight for my wife too. So we went out there for like a 4-day wedding, and it was cake. We had a great time. So yeah, there's ways of bartering. Logic has left the chat. Okay. Funk Juice says, wishing y'all a happy Thanksgiving, and everybody in the chat getting ready to go to work. I will catch up. Sounds good, pal. Thank you. Speaking of Black Friday, anyone seen any deals thus far? So I haven't really been looking. Oh, this is the DJ that's doing the party today. The playlist is full of Kanye, literally every Kanye song ever made. I don't care today. Do what you must. Okay. Anyway, I'm so over this client, and she's been texting me like 50 times in the past day. I'm just over this client. And again, it's always the clients that don't pay you that require the most assistance. A client will drop $10,000, $12,000 on an invoice like that. They don't even talk to me. Like I can barely get a meeting out of them. Charge a client $1,000. They want to see your social score. What's your credit at right now? Let me look into your, it's just too much. Okay. Lehman in the building. What's going on? I did a small engagement barbecue for a close friend, gratis. And next thing you know, there is money on my Venmo. There you go. Yeah. I've done that plenty of times. And then, I've done weddings for cheap for old friends. And then, they're like, what's your Venmo? And I give it to them, and it's like twice what I would have charged anyway. So I get it. I get it. Okay. I heard we're getting molested. Okay. Sound switch 50%. I must have been something else. Oh, sound switch 50% off. Oh, so the one thing I will say, which I am buying today, is the what do you call them? The SanDisk Extremes, USB-C. Where it is right now. Oh, there's no bag. Let's see here. What is it? I don't know where it is right now. Anyway, the SanDisk Extreme small portable USB-C drives, the Extreme Pros right now are on sale. They're always on sale over the Black Friday, but they have a 4 terabyte version. Do not buy SanDisk drives, says Mojax in the building. Man, I have been on SanDisk drives forever. Now, I will say this. I've gone with Crucial too. I've had SanDisk. People have said the same thing, and I'm not discounting anybody right now, but people have said the same thing about Western Digital in general. I have never had a failure with the Western Digital drive. So I think it is to each their own. But having said that, my original SanDisk, which was the 2 terabyte, did fail on me. But the one I've been using now, which is the Pro with the little orange around the edge, it's been good for me. It's been good. Specifically the Extremes. I'm telling you, man, I haven't had problems with them, and I've been using them for years. I gotta knock on every wood in my house. Damn, you people are angry. Don't drop them then. Who's dropping their hard drives? I mean, seriously, who's dropping their hard drives? I don't do that. Now, having said that, I don't really know what else is out there. I haven't really looked. This has been a non-shopping Black Friday for me, to be honest with you. I got too many dance bills that have piled up. Like the dance. By the way, my kids over the weekend did compete. My son got 5th overall. My daughter got 6th overall. We're bomb. You don't have to say it. I know. They're tappers, but the dance company keeps charging us for everything right now, and I am so bitter. I thought I'm good. I'm good. I got some money right now. That's gone. It's all gone. All my money's gone. Now, fortunately, I have a couple of large events lined up where I'm going to make some good money in December, which is going to handle all of the Hanukkah presents for my kids. But thank God for that. Thank God for that. Don't put your kids in club soccer. Don't put your kids in club basketball. Don't put your kids in dance if you want to retain your income, your wealth. I really should say. Don't do it. All right, let's check Amazon real quick. And this bigger. There we go. Turkey time. Okay, let's see here. Not that. Come on. All right, let's check out portable hard drives. Portable USB-C hard drives. Hard drive. All right. I don't think Lacey is nearly as good as they claim to be. I think Lacey's have high failure rates also. Let's take a look. 4 terabyte, 239. Not that one. So you're telling me that not that one. Yeah, I haven't had problems with the Extreme Pro. This is the one I've been using, but I've been using in the 2 terabyte. And I haven't had any problems with it. So, see, purchase another variation. I've done that. So who's right here? Who's right? I don't know. It was public. Okay, I think the point we're trying to make here, it's a simple point. I get what you're saying, but things have problems and then things are fixed. So I'm aware of the problem that they were having. But I am also not going to assume. See, there's Mojax. Damn it, Mojax. And you can get the finger, the middle. Fine, Mojax. Fine. You're lucky I respect you. You were damn lucky. All right, what else do we got here? In a 4 terabyte variety. That's small, compact, and rugged. I'm not seeing anything. I can't stand the Lacey's. I really can't. And what's the other one? The T. Even didn't the T7 have problems too? I think it's the T7. I think that was the one that had problems. That one's the one was failing also. You can't win. Okay. Let's see what we got here. T7, 2 terabyte one. Okay, that's the price isn't bad, but I would like one in 4 terabytes. Let's see if it'll give me some options up here. Really? All right, here's a 2. Come on, give me 4. Do they not have a 4? They don't have a 4. Oh, wait, hold on. What is this one? God damn ugly, though. IP65 water rated, industrial resistant. I'm not mad at that. Okay. I'm willing to try another one. How big is this thing? Okay, good. It's a good size. All right. All right, Mojax. All right. I'm willing to try a T7. I'm willing. It's on you, though. Okay. All right. I'll get a T7. Done. $199. Add to cart. I love how there's the option. It says buy new. Like, you should never buy a used hard drive. All right. Let's see what we got here. All right. So the 2 terabyte is only, the 4 terabyte is only in black. Okay. As it should be. The big one. Sorry. That was bad. Okay. So, we all back up. Now, look, I have backups of my backups. I got backups in Dropbox Cloud Drive, in iCloud Cloud Drive, and actually two different Google Drives. And yeah, you got a backup. Peer pressure knows no geographic limitations. Yes. You're absolutely right. Okay. David Jenkins says, I am visually impaired DJ from here in Frederick. Appreciate your content. Hey, thank you for hanging out today. I appreciate you being here. Think of all the interesting things you can find in a used HD. Yes, you are right. So I thought about that external enclosure. I went that route and I'm over it. I'm just going to buy one. I am over that. Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about, by the way, in case you guys did not know, I did finally get my, speaking of T7s, I got my T7 from, why am I drawing a blank right now? The T7 from What's Her Faces. I'm so bitter about having to wait this long that I don't even have an opinion on Hercules. Thank you. The Impulse. I got it. I've already run it through some basic courses. First thing I had to do, because they did send me the updated Hercules. It wasn't InnoFader. It was the updated Hercules crossfader and upfader. Replaced. I spent about an hour just kind of scratching and messing around with the stock one that came with it. I wasn't too impressed, but when I tell you that the Hercules one is very damn good, very, very good. I'm happy. I'm a happy camper. So, and it came with a nice gold display. Have you guys seen that one? Have you seen it? I'll go grab it for you real quick. I'm going to cut this commercial, but you'll still. All right, guys, what's going on, everybody? It's your man, Cleveland Terry. I wanted to just do a quick video about this new unit. It's not out yet. It doesn't come out until
July 31st, it hits market. I have pre-order it pretty soon though.
All right, so this is Tim. This is the man, runs this thing. They came out with an amazing product. I haven't tested it yet, but based upon what I'm seeing, this is one of those to beat.
It's a game changer.
Moving platters. It's $700.
What's up, everybody? How are we doing today?
This is gonna sell like hotcakes. So I'm gonna do a review, but tell me just real quickly, like, what made you guys decide to do something like this?
The history of DJing is vinyl, right?
Yeah.
And motorized jog wheels is the best we can get right now.
Right. Okay. So, T7. By the way, I love the fact that I can just carry this thing around. It is so stupidly light. So light. But when you upgrade the fader to the Hercules one, you get a nice, pretty gold one. Gold faceplate. I don't want to drop this. I don't want to drop that. It's on a hard drive. You know, since all you DJs are just dropping hard drives left and right. I do have one issue. And it's very Vestexy, Drew. Absolutely. That was the first thing I thought about. I'm like, that's my old Vestex PMC. This is the one thing I will say that I did not like. Not a big deal. When you turn on the Impulse, when you turn it on, XLR. I don't know where people got this thing that they don't have XLRs. They have XLRs. Okay. The one thing that I didn't like, and I still to this day won't like, is when you plug in your power and you turn the power on, it makes absolutely no indication that it's on. It does nothing until you plug your USB into your computer, and then all the lights start popping up. I thought, I'm like, oh god, did they give me a bad power supply? Why are there no lights on this board? But you have to plug in your USB-C or your USB. That's really the only issue that I've had so far. I messed with it. I messed with it for several hours yesterday. I haven't taken it out yet, so that's why I won't give a review until I'm able to take the damn thing out and to actually use it, because taking things out is a big deal. You know, a lot of things that we think are fine, you never see until you take it out. You know, for instance, like I first demoed one mic input. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a minute too. My first demo of the Rev 5, which I still love. It's a great board. You know, I said that this is probably the best board. If you're not trying to get a 1000, you want something close to the Rev 7, you know, go with this board. And I still believe that. But the one thing that I noticed, I took it out to one of my bar gigs, and I plugged in I have in-ears. You guys all know that. And I plugged in my in-ears, and I don't know what it was, but it was extremely hard it took a while for me to get used to the sound that was coming out of the headphone jack of the Rev 5. Not the same on the Rev 7. Not the same on the Rev 7. But those little things are things that make a difference to people, you know? But it's those little things that you're like, oh, I didn't realize that before because it wasn't a thing. I was in a perfect environment room, and there's things you just don't see. So I always have to have a long term, but so far, so good. Now I see Greg is putting in all the specs. Literally, there's enough videos out there. My commercial has all the specs on there. I know there's only one mic input. This is what I will say about this board. It is not the board that you will use as your main driver. Okay? It's not that board. This board is for the super small events, the things where you don't have to worry about bringing a microphone. Like, again, I'm DJing at a bar, I'm DJing at a restaurant. Perfect controller for that. But it's not the one that I would take, if I'm doing a big ass party. And that's okay. But when it's sitting here or it's sitting on my table and I'm watching TV or whatever, and I want to just start scratching for a little bit, it's a perfect board for that. If I don't want to come into my office and use my turntables, it's a perfect board for that. Especially with the new faders. But I'm not expecting it to be the end all. And people keep doing this thing where they keep comparing it. Oh, it's nowhere near the Rev 7. No, it's not. It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. This is a secondary controller or an entry-level controller for somebody that wants to get back into turntablism or wants to learn how to use, moving platters. This is what this is for. Or for somebody that wants something that's super light, they can transport around, get into places where you don't have the space and not have to worry about breaking your back. I love my Rev 7. Absolutely love my Rev 7. I don't love. First off, it's in my furniture, so I don't love taking it out of the furniture because I got to go do, an axe throwing shop. I don't want to do that, but I also don't want to take something that I'm not going to enjoy using. So that's the kind of thing that is literally, it's hard to quantify, and I know people are always stuck on the whole money issue. Oh, it's this much or isn't this much, or for $400 more, I could get this. Then you gotta do what you gotta do. But I will tell you this, if you are not using the microphones, okay, I would put this up with the Rane One, in all honesty. Now the mics on the Rane One are very, very good, but it's giving me everything I need on this one, very similar to the Rane One. Just a honest, upfront, first look opinion. Greg Black says I need to use an external mixer. Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, I see, and this is one of those things. I don't use external mixers, so for me, the board has to be good. It has to have good outs. It has to have quality XLRs. It has to have a great microphone input. And if it doesn't have those things, I'm not going to use it because I'm not bringing around an external board on every single event I have. Not going to do it. I have limited space as it is around my area, so it just won't happen. East Shore Entertainment says, what's the minimum specs for a MacBook Pro running latest Serato? I don't know. Have we looked at the Serato site? Because they give you those specs online. And but I'm going to assume it's still probably an i7. And it's probably at least 1 or 2 gigs of storage. And RAM is probably 8 gigs, is my guess. But let's see. All right, here we go. All right, minimum requirements. Where are you? Resources. I'm on your, where's my download? I hate when it does this. Let's go to try. Okay. All right. Minimum requirements for a Mac, 2017 or later, Intel Core i5 or M1, M2 or higher, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 15 gigs or more of spare local space on your SSD, and the Mac OSs are Ventura, Monterey, and Big Sur. Now, what they recommend, because you should never be getting a minimum spec computer to DJ, in all honesty, because one update could literally make your computer useless. I mean, we found that out once they put stems into a Serato. A lot of those computers aren't working properly anymore. So Intel Core i9, which I would not recommend an i9 in any MacBook. That thing's a scorcher. So stay away from the i9. I know from experience, stay away from the i9 or M1 or M2, 16 gigs or higher of memory. And then the same storage space and a 4 gigabyte or 14 core graphics card. So yeah, any computer nowadays will work for the most part. Any Mac will work. What they're describing there, that's any Mac over the last, 5 years. Easter says, I have a 2014 i7 16 gig memory. Try it, man. I'm sure it's fine. Everyone thinks your name is Google. The T7 is really not meant for making money. It's a hobbyist system. No booth out pretty much tells you. Yeah, I mean, I guess. I rock in-ears, so booth out doesn't matter to me. But you are correct. But it's a perfect small mixer piece of gear. Perfect. Okay. Booth out is overrated, especially for the mobile DJ. XLR mic inputs are a necessity. I'm not going to say booth out is overrated for mobile DJs because okay. Oh, there goes my table. Sorry, waiting for my screen to come back. Thank you. Okay. The reason why booth out still works is because I know a lot of DJs out there, a lot of mobile DJs are doing this thing where they put their speakers behind them. So all that noise is literally hitting them in the back of the head. I don't understand that personally. It's too loud. I'm trying to protect my hearing, not cause, unrecoverable hearing loss. So my speakers are always in front of me. So my in-ears are lifesavers. And even that, in that sense, if I wasn't using my in-ears, the booth monitor does help. But I don't put my speakers behind me though. And I don't think most people should. It's not good for your hearing. Okay. Let's see here. Oh my, okay. Certified Crypto says Rev 7 or Mixon 8 are my top options, and they couldn't be more different from one another. Like absolutely more different from one another. So it's not even something I can say, well, if you like this, like, no, they're completely different units. So that's going to be you. I mean, if we get to the rudimentary, either you like moving platters or you don't like moving platters, you know, but even besides that, they're night and day different. Kylie, I'm still waiting for your company to send me a test unit. Still waiting. It's out. Who do I have to talk to? Let me know, because I'd like to talk to them. I'd like to see what, you know, this AI lighting is actually doing. I think I'm a pretty good test case for that, considering all things considering. Okay. Exactly, DJ Lab. Exactly. Can you do a comparison video, Rev 5 versus Rain 4? No! They're not the same. They're not the same. They're not. I mean, in all honesty, the reality is every single piece of kit that comes out could be a comparison. Could be a comparison, but they're not the same. The Rev 5 and the Rain 4 are completely different units. They're not the same. The Rain 4 is a good board. The Rev 5 is a good board. I would say, if you like having control over all of your channels, okay, if you like having control over that, then the Rain 4 is the only option, because the Rev 5 is only a 2-channel board. I mean, it's a 4-channel board, but there's only 2 faders. So you have less options. Okay, that's the first thing. I would say that the Rain 4 is closer to the Flex 10 in comparison than the Rev 5. In my opinion, the Rain 4, Flex 10, those are the two you should be comparing. Now, I know that we're losing paddles on the Flex 10, but in reality, they're so different, you can't even compare them. All right. Okay. Let's see here. Browsing Black Friday deals. SoundSwitch lifetime subscription is half off. That's a great price. That is a great price. If you're into SoundSwitch, I like SoundSwitch a lot. I think that it does a great job. However, I've started using the WMX one, and I like what it does. I know the argument is always the same. Well, the WMX one is good, but it requires you to do more work while you're DJing. And in my mind, I'm just like, I'm doing that anyway. I'm not going to go in and script all of my songs. I'm not going to do that. And I think their auto scripts are solid. They're getting better, but even then, I'm still going to be touching, the Control 1. I'm still going to touch it because it requires. I'm going to touch it when I want to go to all white light. So I bring it up. I'm going to touch it when I want to do a manual strobe. Like, those things are still going to happen. I'm not going to build in strobes and that kind of stuff in my songs, because every crowd is different. And if I'm playing for somebody and I'm like, oh, that's right, this crowd is older, but I normally have a strobe, I'm like, I'm not going to do certain things. So I do like the ability to touch. Now, don't get me wrong, I like SoundSwitch. There is a little bit of what's the word I want to say? I have had more random glitches with Serato when using SoundSwitch than without, if that makes any sense. I'm fully aware of sound. Look, I've had SoundSwitch since before people were impressed by it. I'm a Kickstarter, so I've had SoundSwitch. It's not like I'm talking out of my ass. I don't know what I'm talking about. I trust me when I tell you. I know it. I just, every update they come out with, it gets a little better. And, then I go to use it and I'm like, okay, this is cool. It's good. Okay, it's good. You know, but then there are things that it still doesn't do. There are things that it still doesn't do. And my biggest issue with SoundSwitch, not their scripts. It's not the control one. It's that I can't make easy changes on the fly without going into the DMX mode to change it. That's my biggest issue with it. If I want to turn my gobo into a prism and then slow the rotation speed down, it takes too much work. That is my biggest issue with SoundSwitch. That's it. That's the number one issue for me. Sometimes I want my prism on, sometimes I don't. And I want to be able to do it quickly. And I know you're going to say, well, just put it in here as a scene. That's not my point. My point is, if I want to change, if I want to do any of those things, it requires too much work. It's all great if you're a front end person. You know, you're in there and see, you know, if you're in there and you do all the things up front and you set it and forget it, there's nothing better than SoundSwitch. Absolutely nothing. You know, except for maybe this AI thing that nobody will send me. But if you like to tinker and you like to make small adjustments throughout the party, then I think WMX1 is a better choice. But it's a good time to be a DJ where you have so many options. You know, like I'm a big fan of Light Rider. If you're only using moving heads, I truly believe Light Rider is better than everything. If you're only using moving heads. Seriously. It's got so many things pre-built into it. It just makes it easy. Hit the button like ordering at McDonald's. It's easy. But besides that, you know, there's a lot of options out there. No, and WMX1 isn't perfect either, as Drew was saying. It's not perfect either. I was messing with that and I'm trying things and I'm like, why can't I get it to do this little thing? Oh, well, it doesn't. Okay, there are limitations. There's limitations to every single program out there. There's not a perfect program. Not a perfect program. Unless you're using Light Rider and moving heads. Then it's a perfect program. It really is a perfect program. That AI DMX Maestro for $1,500. Oh, that's what it cost? Oh, they're definitely not sending me one. They're like, we'll send it to you for 48 hours. We need it back. No, I don't think I'm going to be doing that. Okay. All right. DJ Fennec or FNNYC. The anal fader makes a difference. The only thing I don't like is the fact that it didn't give you a full control of the fader curve. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You don't have fader curve. You don't have fader curve on a lot of products under $1,000. To be honest with you, that just doesn't happen. Okay, so I do want to talk a little bit about. I know I wrote those. I wrote them down. So let's see here. I still have to make a mix now. Now that Scratch Bastard is performing 4 people away from me, now I have to like put some thought into what I'm doing. First I was like, I'm just going to play. No, it's no big deal. I know the other DJs there, you know, whatever. I'm just going to play. And then they said Scratch Bastard and I'm like 4 from him. So I can't be ass. And then he goes on. I just can't. I will not. I think is the more important thing. So now I'm back in the studio working on wordplay and stuff. Okay, let's see here. Where are my notes? Okay. So, Ruben, what's going on, Ruben? Good to see you. Asks, I have the Jetpack remix, but I would like the drop carry-on bag. I know they sell the drop as a system, but do you have the remix and drop carry-on? And could you show the remix and the drop? Where is the remix in my house? The drop, I do have the drop. I have not reviewed the command lighting. Let me get the drop. I'll get the drop. Hold on one second. I can do that. Okay, so bad news. I don't actually have the drop here. It's at my office. I just realized exactly where it is in my office, so I don't have it. So you have the Jetpack Remix, but I would like to drop carry-on bag. Okay, so the question is, I assume you're asking, does the Jetpack Remix, will it work? And the short answer is, it would only work if you apply it to the handles, but you can't put it in the drop system because the drop only works for the slims, which is not the slims, the snap. Damn. Everything I own is like gone. So this is the what is that? The snap. This is the only one that will fit in the little drop area. It won't even fit the slim, which is this guy right here. It does have to be this slim. So basically, this slim is essentially like right here, without the extra added spot there, but it won't fit. I'm hoping that for NAMM this year, they do make the glide, which also is an additional drop. The glide will do the drop too. I'm hoping they make it fit the Rain 4 because it does not fit the Rain 4 yet. So I'm hoping that happens. Okay, so in the building, what's going on, fam? Good to see you. Chauvet ILS, I have not reviewed it yet. But what I will say is this. I'm assuming, but based upon what I've already done, and by the way, the good news is the ILS, the USB wireless receivers or transmitters that go into the back of your ILS moving heads or whatever, will do a pass-through for data. So let's say you're using your WMX1 or your sound switch, it will pass through the DMX wirelessly to the devices. I wasn't sure if it was going to mess up the protocols, but it does. Problem is with the WMX1, they don't have a profile for the GigBar Move ILS. Like, why don't you have a profile now? Like, I get it when it first comes out, but you have a profile for the original GigBar Move, but you don't have a profile for the ILS version yet. Like, it seems dumb. And you can't just say, well, I'll use the old one because the channels are different. Every time they come out with a new ILS or a new device, the channels are different. So the first one was like, you know, my opinion on the Flex 10 is check the video. I have a long video review on the Flex 10. Check the video. It's a good board, but check the video. I guess I'm getting some people that are a little newer to the stream. That's my train of thought. The GigBar Move has 15, 3, 30, and like 50 channels. And then the ILS has 3, 35, and like 65 channels. So nothing that it doesn't cross. You can't use it. So unfortunately, when I am using the GigBar Move, I can't use the WMX1. Unfortunately. And I'm not going in there and programming 70 channels. Not going to happen. So this is what I will say about the command, which I feel, and they mentioned this when we were doing, when I first had the review. It might be on here, it might not. The issue is that ILS is not designed to be the DMX protocols that you customize and make yours, and you have special things that do certain things. That's not what ILS is. So I'm assuming that the command lighting is going to operate the same way. Yes, you'll be able to change the colors. You'll be able to stop, the gobo at certain fixed points. They'll have some scenes there that allow you to lock them in. But I don't think you will be you can do it, reprogram it. No, Ted. I don't think you're going to be able to go, oh, I want to change the gobo to just this and only have these gobos playing. I don't think it's going to have that. I think it's for people that potentially don't use the gig bar move, but they have like 4 moving heads and they just want to be able to control them all at the same time. I think that's what it's for, in all honesty, and some uplighting so you can change the colors. But like, if you want to do special things like, I only want the uplighting to be on, but I want to turn off my movers and all that stuff. I don't know how detailed it's going to be. I'm going to get one. I'm definitely going to get one to try out, but I truly believe that it's going to be limited for anybody that is a power DMX user. Just an opinion though. And I could be 100% wrong, but when it comes to CFA products, I haven't been wrong yet. They just released a, what is it? The 60. But strangely enough, they keep saying that it's a 70 watt moving head, which is actually pretty good. Like I'll take a 70 watt moving head, but then I go to their website and it says 60 watts. Now I know it's only 10 watts, but like, why do it? You know, now, again, ILS is the lighting that you use where you want a decent light show. It doesn't require much customization. And that's it. You set it and forget it. Me setting up my lighting is literally a 3-minute process. I mean, honestly, take the movers out the bag, put the USB sticks in the back, and literally they just kick on with the gig bar move. Just kick on. Okay. Let's see here. Durrell says, greetings and happy turkey season. Is it okay and acceptable to DJ from an SD card from the onboard SD, a SD slot or USB drive? Is it okay to DJ in the field? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the Denon Prime series, I mean, yeah, they have USB, but they also have SD card slots. And I've used SD card slots in every single Prime because I just take out the card and put it in the next Prime device and it works just perfectly. So there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, don't put the most ghetto SD card in. Put a card in with some decent read and write speeds, because that's going to affect how quickly you get that music into the playing mode. But besides that, easy. And it's funny because everybody keeps saying, so I'm going to bring up SanDisk one more time because a lot of my cards, besides the ones that are in my Sony a7 IV, they're all SanDisk Extreme cards. Are you telling me those are bad too? Is Mojack still here to tell me those are bad too? I want to know because I have not had one failure and I don't want you jinxing me. My hands are numb from knocking on wood so damn much. Anyway, but it's funny because I use the pro grade SD cards in my A7 IV, and I can go to one page and it's like, they are amazing, best cards I ever had. I go to another page, they fail all the time. I've had 7 cards fail. I don't know what people are doing just in general to their stuff, but sometimes I wonder if the failure rates have anything to do with the fact that maybe they just don't. Maybe they're just hard on their stuff. You know, I don't know, but everybody's different. Okay. So back to my story, and it's 2:45. I'm going to be on here for another 20 minutes or so. But I do want to share my stories with you. So last week I talked about making mistakes, and, you know, to error is human. And I talked about specifically, if you're announcing the client's name and you announce it wrong or you say the wrong name, just own up to it and keep moving on. And what the hell happened to not me, but my MC this weekend? And I should have known too. I saw the point where I was like, here's the thing. X-Backs, happy Thanksgiving to you too. Here's the thing. So we're going through the meeting, and the MC is talking to the family, and he keeps saying, Jacob. His name's not Jacob. And, he's like, no, I'm not Jacob. Jacob's my middle name. It's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Kind of played it off. And we're going into the grand entrance. Crowd is split. Here is, I think his name was like Max. But here is Jacob. And I look up. I'm like, oh, shit. Clients are on the stage right next to me, right? I'm the DJ. It's like an extended stage. I'm off to the right of the stage. They're right in the middle. So what do you do in that situation? Now, if you remember what I talked about last time, I said, own up to it, make it a joke, flip it around, say we're going to restart. And then he said, oh, and I'm literally like, what's he going to do? And I'm waiting for him. He goes, DJ. And I already know. I spin it back. Let's do that over. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my fault. I screwed up. Obviously, that is not his name, but we're going to start this over again. DJ, you ready? Let's start this over. Ubit, bam. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to introduce to you, blah, 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 Max. Meanwhile, I'm looking at the parents. The parents are on stage like this. They're just like, okay, he recognized he made the mistake, but he's going to fix it. And he fixed it, and that was it. You know what the client did not do this weekend? The client did not bring it up. The client did not send me an email later on saying, I was so disappointed that your MC ruined the most important part of my night. No, the client tipped us a ridiculous amount of money and was like, you guys rocked it. Why? Because we're human and humans make mistakes. And how quickly you own up to it, how quickly you fix the situation is the most important part in what you do as a professional. Professional doesn't mean perfect. And this is that thing people confuse. Professional does not mean perfect. It means that you are going to operate in the best position possible, in the best interest of your clients. You're going to try to be as consistently great as possible. That's professional. That's it. But professionals left and right make mistakes, and we just have to move on from that. And that's kind of where I'm going to start the story, because it doesn't get worse from that part. After that, he never called him Jacob, by the way. This is something that I think we all need to hear and put into practice. One of the things that I've seen online, forums, and everything is DJs that are like, hey guys, I just booked a prom. I need to know what kids are listening to now. Hey guys, I just booked a Middle Eastern event. They want Persian music and something with like Indian. Can you guys send me a playlist for that? Hey guys, I'm doing a whatever. There's a difference between not having all the music and trying to just update your portfolio, your catalog. There's a difference between telling somebody, yes, I'm fully capable of doing your event, and I have absolutely no idea what this music is you're asking me to do. And it's not that you want it for 10 minutes. It's not that you want it for, an hour. You want it for 4 to 5 hours. Why in the world would I take that party? And the argument I see from people is like, well, you got to learn sometime. No, we don't learn on professional parties. We don't learn that we should have had more music on a professional party because you're ruining their event. I was not supposed to be working this weekend. If you guys remember from last weekend, I said, I'm filming one of my MCs, which was the same party. And the music request playlist came in, and I'm talking to my partner, and he's like, you might want to just make sure that he has this and this and that. And I said, and I made a joke. I said, it's not going to matter anyway. He's not going to look at it until Saturday. And then sure enough, Saturday, he's like, hey, so I'm looking at this playlist, and, there's a lot of this and that. And I already saw the playlist. It was a whole bunch of like Israeli music. They were half Israeli and half Egyptian, and EDM. They wanted no rap, a little bit of rap, but they wanted mostly just EDM and, high energy stuff. Every song you're playing had to be a remix for the EDM, all this stuff. So I saw this list and I was going, I'm interested to see what he's going to do with this. Cause I'm going to be there. I'm going to have my computer, so it's not a big deal. But then when he emails or texts on Saturday, I'm like, you're nowhere near prepared for what they're asking for. And you're going to ruin their party. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to move you to a different party because I had a DJ call out. I'm going to move you to a different party and then I'm going to do the party. So I do the party. Parents, sweetest people, the most overbearing people you'll ever see. Hey, can you do this right now? Hey, do you think we should do this right now? Oh, hey, can you play this right now? Oh, hey, don't forget to change the lights. And I'm just like, I got you. Don't stress over this. No worries. And I'm always the guy that's like, I'm going to prove to you, I'm going to show you in right in the beginning that you don't have to question me, and that's exactly what happened. So, but musically, I knew that DJ wasn't capable of doing it. Now, I could have sent him, or if you're a one-up, I could have taken the party and then did a mediocre job. Every time I'm playing a Persian song or an Egyptian song, I can't wait to get back to like the 2000s and the 90s and play some hip hop or play some house. And they're like, oh, that was great, but can you play another one? Can you play another one of these songs? Can you do this? No, I can't, because I don't really have enough music, because I'm not familiar with the music. I'm not familiar with what you do. I do a Latin club periodically, usually once or twice a month. And it's all Latin. Like, you can't play any English. You can't play any rap. It's got to be Latin music. Now, obviously there's Latin hip hop, things like that, but it has to be Latin. If they hear anything else, they get mad at you. They start texting the guy who books me, hey, blah, blah, blah. So, you tend to stick to reggaeton and, cumbias and, bachata, all that stuff. So you're staying there the whole night. It's 4 hours long. That is a ridiculous amount of time to do anything that you don't speak the native language. So I've had to work hard at getting better at it. Okay. The reason why I'm telling you this is because my partner's just had his second child, and he's like, hey, I'm going to need you to work for me on Tuesday nights at my gig, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, cool. I go to look on Tuesday and it's all salsa. Now, again, I play Latin music, but I don't play 4 hours of salsa. So I'm like, hey man, is this all salsa? He goes, pretty much for the most part. And I'm like, oh damn, this is going to suck the life out of me. So I am not DJing until, mid-December there. I'm like, I'm going on Tuesday, and my wife's like, well, you don't need to go, blah, blah. I'm like, no. I need to see how the vibe is throughout the night. I need to understand this. Now I can play, an hour and a half of salsa, hour and a half, 2 hours of salsa. I can't play 4 hours without making sure I have more catalog. So that's the professional in what we do. Don't just say you can do something and have never done it before. Or if you haven't done it before, be honest with them. Hey, you know what? That's not really in our wheelhouse. So I'm going to need you to help me out with some music that you have. And then I can kind of go from there and find other music, and I'll check my sources and all those things. But you got to be able to, you just don't say you can do something, because there's nothing worse. I have DJs right now that are like, oh, we play what they play. And then you hear them, they're like, they don't play like you play, and they don't play all the music you play, because what is the number one thing that people do? Not salsa, but just in general. What is the number one thing that people do when they don't know music? The number one thing, and this is why I always tell people that don't play whole songs. I play whole songs is BS, because most of the time they're playing whole songs, but because they don't have enough music to go through. I mean, obviously a salsa song is 4 to 6 to 7 minutes. In reality, I need like 10 songs an hour. So it's 40 to 50 songs. You can't remix it. They don't want remixes. Not for this one. Not for this one. If I'm doing the Friday night or the Saturday night, I have full carte blanche to do whatever I want, as long as it's Latin, but not for this salsa night. They have a salsa class beforehand, and then it's 4 hours of salsa afterwards. So they come there for that reason. Anyway, so, do your work, do your research, as Don Rafa said. Make sure you're prepared for that event, and don't take a party that's like, a week from now, and they're like, oh, I want you to do something that you've never done before. I get it if maybe they're like, oh, it's a Latin party, it's a Latin wedding, and it's going to be, banda with some occasional cumbia and then you're like, okay, but the wedding is not until next June. Like, I get it. You have time. You got time to research. You got time to work. But those people that are like, oh, I just took a party. I have a party next week and it's this. Don't do that. You're doing yourself a disservice and the client that booked you with in good faith. Yeah, most of the time they don't like remixes for the salsa music. I have another DJ that makes like hip hop versions over salsa, and it's just like, stop. They want the classics. I only played a quarter of the songs for the 4 hours. Yeah. And it's different, obviously. For salsa, you can't cut songs because it's partner. Anything with partner work, you got to play whole songs. But besides that, you're good to go. I can say from experience, some people hate when you mix into another song. I wanted to hear my part. So play their part. You get what I'm saying? This is why the whole play whole songs thing is bullshit. It's bullshit. It's not that you are cutting their song. You're cutting their song at the wrong time. Play the part they want. They're not gonna be mad at you. Give them a chorus. Give them the verse. Cultural dances play the whole song. Well, that's not. Look, Mac and I go back and forth with this because it depends on the song. Not all cultural music requires you to play the whole song, but it just depends on the song. It depends on the genre. But I agree and disagree at the same time with that. Bro, the EDM gig must have been like being in a sauna. I don't mind EDM. I mean, look, when I play nightclubs, you got to play hip hop. You got to play EDM. You got to play, a little bit of rock. You play a little bit of everything in an open format club. So I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. A lot, especially tech house, as Drew said. There's a lot of good EDM out there. And anything with like an amazing bass line, that soulful house, I'll take that any day of the week. Any day of the week. DJ Mikey Mike. Oh, thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. All right. What is the last thing I want to talk about? Oh, okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Why does everybody go to Don't Stop Believing? Mr. Pookie, in the world of music, there's so many songs. But even then, you don't have to play the whole Don't Stop Believing either. The trick is not, don't cut out the guitar solo. Don't cut out the chorus because the only chorus is at the end. So you can't cut off Don't Stop Believing because the chorus is at the end of the song. But what you can do is after the first verse, you can go to the guitar solo and then go to the hook and nobody will complain. Nobody will complain. That's what cue points are for. Cue points are your friend. Now, if you want to use Don't Stop Believing as a place to take your break and to regroup, cool, whatever. But, that's what it is. Cue points are your friends. I see a slight resurgence in techno right now. It's making a little bit of comeback. I mean, there's some good producers out there that are making some good music, And if you're doing a nightclub, you're playing 70 BPM hip hop, or you're playing, and it's changing a little bit, which is good because now you can it's moving back up tempo wise. But you're going to be playing both of them. Some DJs resort to the cheat codes, playing it safe. Yeah, I agree. Don Rafa says salsa is difficult. First verse, then comes chorus, then comes the break, and then true dancers wait for the break, but the break comes in after 4 minutes. Yeah, I don't mess around with salsa. I just let it play. I've had enough experiences of cutting a song slightly early and having angry looks. So I don't cut those early. I miss my 90s hip hop. We all miss our 90s hip hop. But I still play it. Right now, 90s hip hop is the age range for the majority of people that are at parties. So you should be playing 90s hip hop right now. If you're not playing 90s hip hop, you're doing yourself a disservice. Because all of your clients right now, either their parents are the age of 90s hip hop, or the kids are listening to hip hop again, and the 90s hip hop is big. Is big. People know Biggie, they know Dre, they know Snoop. You know, I know it's not 90s, but 2000s. They know the Lil Jons. You got a lot of options. Diddy ain't safe right now. Diddy has never been safe. Y'all just chose to ignore all the rampant rumors about him. I don't know why. They never stopped. You know, it is what it is. Oh man, Afrobeat and Amapiano, love, absolutely love, love. Okay, the last thing I'm going to talk about, yeah, 40th birthday, anything 40 to 50, you're in good hands with 90s hip hop, such good hands. So I'm loving it, and now because you know I do a lot of bar and bat mitzvahs. It took a minute to get to this point where now they're like asking for it. I'm like, thank you. You're now in mine. You're now in mine. Well, because I think the difference between Diddy and R. Kelly was he never forced himself on anybody. I think that was the difference. And he didn't mess with minors. The minor thing will always get you messed up, no matter what you do. You mess with a minor, you are the worst human on the planet. Sorry, I'm spilling coffee. Okay. All right. Last thing I'm going to talk about, and then I'm out of here. Contracts. Let's talk a little bit about contracts. Let's talk about contracts and having the right contracts in place. We don't get a lot of chargebacks because we do a good job, you know, and our contracts are pretty ironclad. And, but we recently had a client that booked us knowing that they lived in the Bay Area, knowing that the brochure they got wasn't a Bay Area brochure. And fine. They wanted to play naive. I didn't know you were from Cali, even though it says it literally in our signature and everything. And we missed it, because when they requested the contract, they just requested it and my partner just saw it and ran through it and sent it in. So anyway, it was going to cost us a lot more money to do the event because we had to pay for travel and hotels and all that stuff. It was going to cost us an additional, $2,500. And so I came to the client. I'm like, look, this is what's going on. We have to charge you for travel, and we charge for travel regardless. If no matter where you are, if you tell us, you book us, and then we find out later on that your party's in Arizona, we're going to charge you for travel, even if we booked a contract, because travel is outside of the norm of the bid. So anyway, it got weird and awkward, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to deal with it anymore. Fine. You know what? We're just going to honor the price. And her party planner got into her and was like, no. I have somebody. I know these people, whatever. They're not us. And so she's like, you know what? I think I'm just going to move on and go with somebody else. So, and we said, fine. And we went ahead and refunded her final balance. And she's like, that's great. Can you refund my deposit too? And we said, no. Like, what do you mean? And she said, we were willing to do the event. We were ready. We booked the hotels. We booked all these things. You're not getting your deposit back. The reason why, and she starts giving us all these reasons, I'm like, it doesn't matter. The deposit is non-refundable, and we're not going to give you that back. We'll refund everything else. You should be happy we're even doing that, but we'll refund everything else. Anyway, the client filed a chargeback, and you know, the credit card companies, they don't know anything. So they're going into it. They're always looking after the purchaser over the seller every day of the week. And I've had 3 chargebacks in the last 16 years, 3 chargebacks. And we have won on every chargeback because our contracts are very explicit. They're detailed. It breaks it down exactly what's going on. You need to have a contract in place. If you don't, then all bets are off. You know, our contracts stood the test even during the pandemic. When at that point, because of force majeure, is it force majeure? Yeah, force majeure. Technically speaking, you know, a lot of people could have gone after and probably won, but our contracts were very, very clear. So people did not try, you know, like I said, our contract says we can take 2/3 out if you cancel within the week. So legally speaking, I could have said, well, we're only going to give you 1/3 back. Legally speaking, in our contract that you signed, it says if you cancel within 30 days of your event, we're only giving you 1/3 back. We can retain 2/3 of your money. But we didn't. We gave it back because it's just a good thing to do. I'm not trying to get into a verbal war and then have this lady all over the world talking about all the bad things that we did, even though we didn't do anything bad. So that's all I'm saying. I don't know. Teach a course. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, so it's kind of hard to teach a course on contracts when I'm not a lawyer. And keep in mind, my relatives, I have relatives, I'm Jewish. So I got doctors and lawyers. That's just the way it works. Half my relatives are doctors, half my relatives are Jewish or lawyers. So I just sent it to them and they came back and was like, doo-doo. Like the first time we sent it to a client, the client was a lawyer and he was like, hey man, you mind if I make some edits to this? Because I think you're leaving yourself exposed. This was when we first started the business. So they went in and he changed some things around and we did that. So then when I sent it to my cousin, he looked at it, he goes, it's actually really, really good. I would just tweak this, and then you won't have any problems. So, you know, it's saved my butt. And every time I've literally just sent the contract, and every time I send the contract, the credit card company's like, okay, you're on the right. You're on the right. So, people clap back with contracts and money mostly based on feelings and not facts. Exactly. Yeah. People absolutely hate when you say, you know, well, based upon your contract. Oh, they hate that. They hate that. Like, well, I'm sorry you didn't read your contract. I'm sorry, but you signed it. So you don't have the same rights as somebody who doesn't have a contract with me. You signed it. The rules are in place for a reason. The rules are in place to protect you and to protect me. So anytime, you know, you sign a contract and they're like, well, you're going to show up. I'm like, did I sign a contract? I'm going to show up because they're in place to protect you. This is all the things that I said you'd be getting. You acknowledge all the things that I said that you'd be getting. Yeah. Anyway, I'll think about it. I'll think about trying to do a contract. Because keep in mind, you know, contracts are great, but not all contracts are great across the country and across the world. You know, you might have some different things in your state or city that preclude you from using some things in my contracts. So it becomes a little harder. Phil 10 in the building. What's going on? You are late because I'm checking off. It is 3:11. I've been on here for a little over 2 hours and I've loved every minute of it. What are we talking about here? We're talking about music. Let's see here. Yeah. So, now it's on my contract. Yeah. So DJ Kenny. So we learned something from that event because, we didn't specify that we would be charging. I was hoping that in good faith, this client would say, oh yeah, I get it. Right. But she didn't. So now on every single email that goes out, our brochure, our contracts, everything, it states in bold, these prices apply to LA County, area specific. Additional charges may apply if you are outside of this. That little window gives us the ability to charge later on if we need to. Because of this one stupid thing. Every law, every rule that's ever been in place is because somebody did something stupid and you're like, oh God, it's like the McDonald's that has to put on the cup, your drink is maybe hot. And the person ordered a hot coffee with hot in the name. We have to prepare ourselves for stupid people. Okay. Anyway, I want to see what this song we're talking about here. Been Around the World. Oh yeah, Been Around the World's a classic. Stakey Lang. Anyway, okay. Still no Shure mic. Huh? What does that mean, Keith Chest? I mean, this is a Shure mic right here. I use Shure mics on my gigs. Stupid is a little unfair. Unusual is better. In what context, Pete B? In what context? DJ High Hittin says, you still doing Twitch? Not lately. I probably will do because I have to do some practice sessions for a show that I'm doing in a couple of weeks. And I need to test out the Impulse T7. So I'll probably get on there more. Anybody watch Glass Onion? When he's like, it's dumb. It's so dumb. It's genius. No, it's just dumb. We're Kalo, I'm older than you probably. Yeah, I know all the rules about McDonald's. That's not what I'm stating. It was hot. I get that. Okay. But anytime, look, if a pot is on a stove and it's boiling, I'm not going to go pick up the pot without realizing that it might be hot. She asked for hot coffee. Yes, it was boiling. That's why she won. But that doesn't change the fact that she knew it was hot. Okay. She spilled the coffee on herself and that's where she got the burns. So no matter what, no judge, no jury is going to let that slide. No jury's going to let that slide regardless. But the fact of the matter was, that's why they had to put on there coffee may be hot. But I understand what you're saying. Special K, you already asked that question and I already answered it. Where were you when you asked the question? Where were you, Special K? I said it is overkill. You don't need that. You can find it in the get one in the middle. Get one in the middle. In M1, M2, or M3. Did you ever buy the wireless QLX D? No, I haven't bought it yet, actually. I will. Just haven't bought it yet. The Donald, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Same thing with Teddy. Thank you again. Anyway, okay. Got to get on a plane. Drew Slim, thank you so much for hanging out. Appreciate you. And okay. Yeah. So remember, the maybe is the window, right? It's allowing for any level of heat. Maybe hot. So when I say to people, if this contract is for events in the greater Los Angeles area, it may incur a charge. May. That means, first off, I haven't specified what the charge is. I'm just leaving myself room. So then when they're like, well, you never told me this. Actually, I did. It's in 19 emails that you get and in the 4 contract stages that you get. All those things are in there. So anyway, do you do your contract or you have a lawyer? We do. Well, once the contract's done, you don't have to have your lawyer look at the contract anymore. So no, the contract is done. I use the same Barlow Plate contracts. I have 2 different contracts, one for the bar mitzvahs and one for like the general one that I send out. I need to buy more right angles. So do I, Ted E. This is number one. So the video guide this weekend, I did this party and they needed RCAs because the kid was going to play piano. And then the video montage was RCAs on a different channel. I had my Rev 7, which isn't the problem. But as I was plugging in the RCAs, they had those super big RCAs, not the ones with the bendable tips, like the cheaper ones. And I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't close up my case. It was out until after the montage. And meanwhile, the videographer's shooting me. I'm like, don't shoot this. This looks like trash. And at that point, I'm like, I got to buy some more right angles. It's the only thing about furniture that is a little frustrating. The only thing. And now even for like my montage, for my auxiliary, I used to have an auxiliary that ran auxiliary to headphone jack, because if somebody had a computer, I could plug in. Now I have to have an auxiliary to, a male RCA input. So then I can put on the other piece if I need to change it to just RCA or RCA to headphone jack. That's the one thing about it I don't like. Every single thing that goes out, it has to be kind of almost on an adapter. So you can switch it out, because you don't want to have to go in there and make changes later on. Yeah. Anyway. All right. People, we have technology, so we don't need wires anymore. In what world do we not need wires? I still need wires for them to send me an audio feed from the LED board. Not everything is wireless. My biggest pet peeve right now is venues that don't have a decent sound system. If I go past 12 o'clock on my mixer, the music starts getting distorted. Kalo, the 12 o'clock on your mixer has nothing to do with you distorting. The 12 o'clock on your mixer usually means that they have set you at a level that is optimum for the party. And then if you turn it past what they've deemed optimum, you're going to distort, maybe because their limiters are kicking in or because they've run theirs on max. So normally speaking, a venue will bring your levels up. So first of all, obviously 12 o'clock should be pretty much as high as you go on an outside system. You should be setting, when they do the sound test, you should be setting yourself at like 10 or 11. So then you have a little wiggle room if you need to get up to 12. But in general, that's the speakers are the speakers. It's their limit. They are either maxed out or they're running their speakers too low, and you're overcompensating by turning up your volume, hence distortion. So there's more to it than just, oh, the speakers are bad. And since I'm not at the venues, it's hard to say. But distortion typically comes from overpowering. But not overpowering because the speaker doesn't have enough power, just overpowering because they didn't provide you with enough gain, and now you're overcompensating with your gain, and now Serato is compressing, and speaker, it's all a big thing. Signal chain is very important. Okay. All right. Yeah, Mac, we are getting there, and at some point we will. But right now, we're still on the fence. There's some wiggle room, but we're not there. Yeah. Okay. People, I gotta go before I start getting text messages angrily from my wife saying, why aren't you responding to me? You dropped this. Anyway. All right. I have to go. So let me ask, if a limiter is used, does it stop the distortion? A limiter stops volume. So yes, if the limiter is set to say, I don't know, 100 decibels, right? And you try to go above 100 decibels, the first thing it's going to do, it's going to try to compress your sound. So at 100, you're running at 100%, right? 102, it's going to compress. And then that compression might change your sound a little bit. The more gain you put into that limiter, the more it's going to crush your audio file, the more artifacts, aka distortion, you're going to get. So there's a lot of different things that you have to deal with there. Could be the limiter. In the speakers, some speakers, limiters are super aggressive. But like Mackey's, super aggressive limiters. If I max my volume out, it won't distort. It'll just drop. The power will literally just drop down. So everybody's different, but I would check their signal chain, and tell them and explain to them what you're trying to do. Because a lot of times people that get systems built in, they don't know their systems. They just buy it because somebody told them to buy it. Okay. What was I trying to do? I'm trying to leave. All right, guys. So I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy the football games if you like them. I do. And if you have parties this weekend, I do. What do I have this weekend? How many? Shouldn't have that many. I have 4. Okay. I got 4 events. I'm at Hotel Casa del Mar. Don't love that. Serato software limiter is pretty rough too. And if you are maxing out, Serato will tell you, look up in the top right-hand corner and look at your audio meter for the Serato itself. And that'll tell you too. Besides, Director has a great limiter. Stop. Besides that, everybody, have a good time. If you haven't signed up for your Harvest of Sound tickets, whether it be just the club show or the seminars, do so. And I will have parties this weekend and hope you guys have great parties. And I will talk to you guys next weekend, the same normal day, which is Thursday. So what is that? The 30th? The 30th. Yep. I will see you guys then, unless something unforeseen happens. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your turkey. And enjoy opening up your waistband because you're going to be exhausted. Peace out, y'all. See you soon.